Check. Man, I'm exhausted. I'm not going to lie to you. This podcast was supposed to come out Monday. The Twins kicked ass. There was no podcast on Monday. This podcast was supposed to come out on Tuesday. The Twins kicked ass. There was no podcast on Tuesday. This podcast was supposed to start around 3 o'clock today. And I just couldn't get this shit done in everything that I was trying to do in enough time to get this thing started. I wanted to have a lot of energy. I was going to do this podcast last night at like 10:30. The Twins refused to go to sleep. So they finally went down like 11:30-ish, and I still was going to try to pull it off, and I just didn't have the energy. And I was like, man, this has to be a high energy podcast because there's so much that I want to get to. I'll just save it for tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, which is today, and I still don't have the damn energy that I want to have. But I can't put it off another day. So here we are, 289th installment of the LouieTeeNetwork podcast. We're going to break down week one. We're going to talk about the Thursday night game on the horizon tomorrow. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Let's just get to it now. Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to the 289th installment of the LouieTeeNetwork podcast. I, of course, am your set man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. I want to give a huge shout out to all of you who signed up for LTN Exclusives, whether it was the Soul Survivor pool, winners and losers, or the weekly pick'em. You made this year the most successful for the LTN Exclusives in LTN history. The Soul Survivor pool, if I'm not mistaken, I'm already out of this shit, which just turns my stomach. I think it's $400 this year, and the pot is $400. So that's exciting. I think last year the pot was like 200 and something, maybe 200 and something. This is the highest it's ever been. So shout out to all of you who jumped in and made that happen. Also, winners and losers, I got to go back and check, but I know this for a fact. It's over $1,000 this year. Okay. You guys did that. And I can't thank you enough. I'm dialed in. Like, I got to win. Like, I know it's over 1,000. It may be over 1,100, might be even pushing 1,200. I got to go back and calculate, but you guys are awesome. All right. So we're locked in there as well. The weekly pick'em was dope. It was $100 this past week, which is a lot, you know. And shout out to Will Arnold for getting it done in week one. He took home the $100 purse in the weekly pick'em pool. So I fell short there. A couple of teams let me down in week one, but such is life. You know, that's how the cookie crumbles. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a massive shout out. And I also had planned to do like a separate video kind of, you know, detailing everything and just giving you an update on the pool. And maybe eventually I'll get around to that. Maybe not this week, but in the future. But just so you know, FYI, if you are in any of these leagues, please use the name that you signed up with. Don't put some random ass name with your picks, because again, when you signed up, you gave me a name. That's the name I put into the pool sheet. So when you sign up and you put your picks in and you come up with some random name that I don't know, how am I going to know that this is supposed to go with the picks? You know, the name that is already in the pool. So please make sure you're not using some random name that you decided to use this week. If you're in the weekly pick'em pool, you use whatever name you want because it's different every week. But if you're in one of these leagues, use the name that you used when you signed up. Also, get your picks in. Okay, there were 2 of you last week who did not submit picks for winners and losers. Don't pay $25 and then not turn picks in, guys. Come on. All right. So if you're out there and you're in the league, it's a lot of money at stake. Okay. Get your picks in on time. Okay. Please. All right. So with that said, let's jump into the show today. I don't have as much time as I wanted to have. And so there's so much more that I want to say to you guys, but I'm just short on time. So let's go ahead and jump into today's show. Let me drop this gem on your melon. Open your mind. Let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with your man, LouieTeeNetwork. Let me open you up. Get you thinking a little bit. So I want to debut something new today. I want to see how it goes. And if it goes the way that I want it to, maybe this will be a reoccurring theme. And maybe I'll turn it into its own show, or I'll leave it on the podcast. Who knows? We'll see. I just want to throw this out there. So I wanted to think of something cool for the guys or, group of players or what may have you that have extraordinary weeks. I used to do something exclusive where I would do the NFL's best, of that week or whatever. But I like this idea better to kind of integrate it into the podcast. So we'll see how it goes. But I want to call this my slime gang of the week. All right. The dudes that were the nastiest, grimiest, and slimiest in week number 1 in the National Football League. The guys that were getting nasty and freaky out on the football field. And we're going to highlight them here on the slime gang of the week. And, it's essentially a list of the 7 best performances of the weekend. And when I get listy, I start listing things, and they're usually comprised of 7 items. This is no different. And so the slime gang is 7 items. It's in no particular order, except the final one that I talk about is the slimiest of the week. And we'll get that out of the way when we get there. But let's go through the slime gang of week number 1 in the National Football League. Let's start with Davante Adams. Man, oh man, is Davante Adams some sweet action or what? Davante Adams is a different dude. So I remember watching a little interview with Davante Adams. I want to say it was maybe two and a half months ago. And in that interview, he talked about how he sets defensive backs up and how he's got a move to counter every single move. If you want to press at the line of scrimmage, he's got this Terminator helmet that he puts on, and he kind of like goes through a list of moves and he picks one to destroy the defender in front of him. And I couldn't help but think of that when I was watching him. First of all, he's incredible because he's getting a rock, and yet he still manages somehow, some way to get open and, catch 11 balls for 140 yards or whatever. He had 10 for 141 and a touchdown in the game against the Chargers, 17 targets. I fear, however, that Derek Carr is going to treat him like Patrick Mahomes used to treat Tyreek Hill, and you're going to force it to him too many times, and it's going to get you into trouble. You're going to throw some picks. But that said, man, is he good. There was a route that he ran against Asante Samuel Jr. Oh my God. The game was played in LA. I saw when he ran this route, I saw Asante Samuel running for the border. Okay. Davante Adams gave him a bop, just a little quick bop, tip tap, went inside, then went back outside, and Asante Samuel went straight. He broke it off, ran a bench route. Asante Samuel ran to Mexico. By the time he realized that Davante Adams had broke the route off and went outside, he was coming back from the border. As a matter of fact, it's 4:57 on the East Coast, which means it's 1:57 on the West Coast. I think he might be getting back to LA in the next 5 to 6 minutes. He might have just got back to LA. That's how bad he broke that man off. The touchdown grab that he had in the game, stupid. Okay? Dumb. Caught it with his fingertips. Don't know how he caught it. This man is an animal on any planet, okay? And I don't know if it matters what team you put him on, he's going to get open and he's going to assault the defense. He's amazing, okay? I don't think he's going to make a huge difference for the Raiders in terms of them, wins and losses, but man, is he fun to watch. He's definitely a part of the slime gang in week 1. 10 catches, 141 yards, and a score, and that sick, nasty move that he put on Asante Samuel Jr. At one point, I said, hey, you gonna make your daddy disown you running around like that. Like, Devontae, come on now. That man's got a potential Hall of Fame daddy, and you doing him like that, man? That's not right. Don't do him like that. Anyway, I digress. Next member of the slime gang. This dude is so slimy, and he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. I swear, this man should have been on Wild and Crazy Kids. He's so slimy. Talking about Nick Chubb, man. Damn it, he's good. Nick Chubb is a certified beast. And all we talk about is Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook and all these other dudes. Christian McCaffrey, who rarely plays these days. And I'm like, yo, why ain't nobody talking about Nick Chubb, man? All he does is go out there and put up 140, 50-yard efforts week in, week out. And it don't take him 27 carries to do it like it does Derrick Henry. He's splitting the backfield with Kareem Hunt. So he usually is only getting anywhere from 17 to 21 carries, somewhere in that neighborhood. But boy, does he make the most of it. 22 for 141, and it's a clean, effortless 22 for 141. And he was good at Georgia. I don't remember him being this good, though. But, Georgia fans will tell you real quick, bro, he was the man before the knee injury, okay? But goddamn it, Nick Chubb is the man. You go watch him in this game, the cuts he's making, the patience that he has, he's jumping over dudes. The first guy rarely gets him down on the ground. I've never seen him waste motion, okay? Everything seems like it's done with purpose. Every step that's taken, every move that's made, it seems like he knows exactly where he wants to get to, when he needs to get there, how he's going to get there. And then once he does, he doesn't waste a single step nor motion. He's so much fun to watch. One of the best running backs in football. I'd put him up there in the top 3. Easy. Everybody wants to talk about all these guys that are versatile, that can catch it, like Aaron Jones. Those are the guys that get people excited. I know Nick Chubb isn't the best receiver out of the backfield. You talk a pure runner in the league, give me Nick Chubb, okay? Give me Nick Chubb. Man, is he good. He tore this is the thing that makes Nick Chubb so nasty, and why he's part of the slime gang this week, is because that ain't Deshaun Watson back there. Hell, it ain't even Baker Mayfield. He was on the opposite sideline in this game. It was Jacoby effing Brissett. You know what you're about to get, a steady dose of Chubb and Hunt. And yet the man still goes for 22 carries, 141 yards, and sets them up to win this game. And a lot of that credit also needs to go to that Browns offensive line. Them some bad mofos right there. Them some bad, bad boys, okay? But Nick Chubb, man, he's the engine that drives that Browns vehicle. If nobody else is going to make sure that Nick Chubb gets credit, I'm going to make sure Nick Chubb gets credit, all right? I'm going to make sure I'm that dude. Patrick Mahomes is a part of the slime gang this week, man. Goddamn Patrick Mahomes. This dude here, man, I swear to you, he's otherworldly, okay? So I told you guys that they were going to lose something when they lost Tyreek Hill. But I said, I also think this has a chance to be addition by subtraction, because Mahomes used to go out of his way to get Tyreek Hill the football, which is what you do when you have a stud like Tyreek Hill. But in doing that, I felt like he would stay on him too long. He would make some poor decisions. He would throw up some YOLO balls. He would get himself into trouble. Well, now he's been freed. It feels like, the shackles are taken off of him, and he can just go out and play ball because he can now spread it around. And in not signing Tyreek Hill, it freed up enough money to go get like 19 different dudes. Juju Smith-Schuster and, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and they drafted the kid out of Western Michigan. And so all these weapons, you still have Travis Kelce, you still have Mecole Hardman. There's a lot of weapons for him to get the football to. It's really ridiculous. And poor Arizona Cardinals, man, they got hell, the holy hell unleashed on them in this game. Patrick Mahomes was 30 of 39. So check this out. The game that was on before Chiefs and Cardinals, which was the 4:00 game on CBS. We got two doubleheaders, one on Fox, one on CBS. The game was Steelers and the Bengals. And because that game lasted so long, remember that went to overtime and literally the final field goal was made with time expiring in overtime. We get to the Chiefs game in the second quarter and it's already like 27-7. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, they're getting their asses handed to them. The game just started. All right. They scored touchdowns on their first 3 possessions. Mahomes at one point had 12 straight completions in the game. He went 30 of 39 for 360, 5 touchdowns to 9 different receivers. He had completions in this game. They had no answer for him, and he made it look so easy, man. It was ridiculous. Juju Smith-Schuster had himself a ball game. We already know what Travis Kelce is. You throw in Valdez-Scantling. I thought Clyde Edwards-Helaire looked like the weapon that they thought he was going to be coming out of LSU. This guy, Isaiah Pacheco, looks like a problem out of the backfield. They still have Jerick McKinnon. That offense this year is probably going to look more like the offense that everyone feared back in 2019 and 2020, and less like the offense that we saw in 21 last season. This offense is going to have it on tilt. They just got too many weapons now. Mahomes is scary again. Not to say that he wasn't scary last year, but remember, he struggled a little bit last year. I don't know if that shit's going to happen this year, man. I mean, they had Justin Reed out there kicking field goals and extra points and kickoffs. They were having fun, man. Yikes. Patrick Mahomes, part of the slime gang in week 1. How about Justin Jefferson, man? Golly, this dude, man. I swear, this guy right here said he wanted to be the best receiver in football. I don't know if he hasn't already achieved that already. He's that good now. Obviously, Devontae Adams and a few other guys around the league will have something to say about that, but I don't know, man. Justin Jefferson, I'm watching him against the Packers in this game, in a game in which he had 9 catches for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. Let me tell you, at halftime, the man already had 130 yards receiving and 2 scores by half, okay, on 6 catches at halftime, okay? He was single-handedly destroying the Green Bay Packers in the first half of this game. He outscored the Packers by himself, 14-7. And it didn't matter who they put on him, how they tried to cover him, he still made plays. And so Justin Jefferson, look, it's amazing now, just looking back, that the Eagles, my brain hurts thinking about how the Eagles passed on him in favor of Jalen Reagor. I know that's old news, but that's still just hard to believe because I remember that draft like it was yesterday and how pissed off I was that he was going to fall to the Eagles. And then they decided to take Jalen Hurts. And I still remember that Vikings Roar Room. You all remember the shot of their then GM, Rick Spielman, their head coach at that time, Mike Zimmer, all like going nuts and elated that this guy's falling to them. And like, what the hell are the Eagles doing? Wow. When you talk about slime gang, Justin Jefferson is the definition of slime gang. Dude is slimy as hell. And I imagine he's going to be on this list quite often. He's scary. The next 2 guys on the list, they're going to be on the list together. They're going to be part of the slime gang together. And that's Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Wow. Jalen Hurts and Jalen Brown, I swear it was like give and go on some John Stockton, Karl Malone shit in that Lions game. Like real talk. He was like, hey, you go ahead and give him hell. And when you're done, I'm going to go. That's what their give and go looked like. You go give them hell. When you done, tag me in, I'll go. If it wasn't Jalen Hurts on 3rd and 14 or 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 7 running for the first down and breaking their back that way on some Mike Tyson, I broke my back type shit, then it was A.J. Brown killing them on a slant or a goal ball or something along those. They had no answer for A.J. Brown. 10 catches, 155 yards. Every time they needed a big play, they just went to A.J. Brown. It wasn't fair. It was like a 12th grader. And I remember when I was in high school, our 12th graders looked like 12th graders. It's a little different now. These 12th graders look like 8th graders. But when I was in school, 12th graders looked like 12th graders. Like a receiver at my school, when I was coming up, he was 6'4", 215 pounds, like a grown-ass man. It looked like A.J. Brown looked like one of those guys versus a 7th grader, that's not ready quite for JV football. That's what it looked like with him playing against the Lions. It wasn't fair. It just wasn't fair. They had zero. It's almost as if they didn't even know who A.J. Brown was. He was destroying them. So was Jalen Hurts, specifically with his legs. It was amazing. Every big 3rd down, it'd be like the Lions would play perfect 1st and 2nd down defense. They get them in 3rd and 14, and Hurts would take off for 16. They'd play perfect 1st and 2nd down defense. It's 3rd and 9. He'd take off for 11. Every single time it felt like that. These two guys absolutely single-handedly destroyed the Detroit Lions. And you could sprinkle in a little bit of the running back, Miles Sanders, if you like. He had a pretty solid game too. But these two guys were the catalyst. The Eagles scored the 2nd most points in week number 1, and it's all because of Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Don't forget about that offensive line. They're really good. But those two, slimy and grimy. And one of my favorite performers of week 1, Tylenola Huffunga, okay? If you didn't watch this guy against the Bears in week 1, please go treat yourself to a display of ubiquity like no other, okay? Tylenola Huffunga is a safety out of USC. I think this is year 2 for him now, all right? He had 11 tackles, 2 of them for loss. I swear it felt like 6 tackles for loss. I swear if you watch the game, you're like, oh my God, it's him again. He had an interception, a pass breakup, and 9 solo tackles. When I tell you this guy was everywhere, I literally mean he was everywhere in this game. Every tackle that seemed like it was made, I swear it seemed like it was Huffunga. I swear to you, go watch the game and come back and tell me I'm wrong. He was so much fun to watch. And if he continues to play like that, he'll become a household name. Okay. Man, was he everywhere in that game. And it was wet. It was nasty, but he was slimy and grimy in that game. Tylenola Huffunga, part of the slime gang in week 1. Gang. And then finally, the slimiest of the week. Big shout out to the slimiest of the week. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Y'all give it up. For the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, y'all, they were on one, okay? They was on a whole nother level. Something totally different that nobody else was on in week 1. They took it to Joe Burrow's ass. I mean, I'm talking about Joe didn't know if he was coming or going. If he was having a hangover from the Super Bowl, that shit woke him up, okay? Joe Burrow was absolutely manhandled, and so was his teammates. Steelers defense. And you know what is crazy is with how well they played and how dominant they were, the fact that it took them to overtime and really a blocked extra point is what saved them, or they lose this football game. And it would be amazing to be talking about a loss with what I'm about to tell you they did. Steelers defense forced not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5, a 5-piece of turnovers, all by Joe Burrow, by the way, okay? 4 interceptions, 3 of which came in the first half. first half on Joe Burrow's ass. 4 interceptions, 3 in the first half, forced him to fumble in overtime, which set up the game-winning field goal, okay? One of those interceptions, a pick six. Minkah Fitzpatrick could have been on this list by himself. He was so good in this game. But I'm going to give the whole defense some love because Alex Highsmith had 3 sacks by himself. TJ Watt, before he left the game late in the fourth quarter, was killing the Bengals, okay, and affecting this game in a massive way. They had 11 quarterback hits on Joe Burrow. So much for them fixing that offensive line. 7 sacks of Joseph Burrow in this game. And 2 of 5 did the Bengals go in the red zone. Now, look, I'm not sitting here telling you that the Steelers defense was perfect. Far from it, okay? And some of this has to do with their offense and the lack of, explosiveness there. They kept giving the ball back to the Bengals because they couldn't sustain offense themselves. They had over 433 yards of total offense or something along those lines, did the Bengals in this game. So it's not like the Steelers stifled them and they only had 100. And this wasn't like the Bills against the Rams. But what the Steelers defense effectively did, and you can go ahead and throw in the blocked extra point. I know that special teams, we'll just seamlessly work that into the defense as well. Again, Minkah Fitzpatrick being special. Without this defense, the Steelers not only don't win this game, they're not even in this game. Okay, they only scored 23 points in this game. 7 of it came because of the defense. And I'd venture to say, and I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I'd venture to say that at least 6 to 10 more of the Steelers' points offensively came off of possessions where the Steelers' defense created a turnover in a short field. That's just a guess. I can't confirm nor deny that. Man, were they slimy. They were the slimiest of the slimy in week number 1. Steelers defense. Boy, they were legit. And that is the slime gang for week number 1 in the National Football League. So let's go ahead and transition to Slate Skating. Go ahead, put your skates on. I'm going to go ahead, lace up my rollerblades, and we're going to get out here, and we're going to go and get funky, 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 funky. We about to go hit the pavement, y'all. Come on. To the left, to the right, y'all. Come on. All right, so we're going to go around the league, Slate Skating. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible because, again, I don't have a ton of time. So let's do this real nice and smooth. We start with New Orleans at Atlanta. NFC South family business. Saints come out on top 27-26. Couple of notes for this game. Fourth quarter, Winston and offense was off the charts. This was a game that the Falcons really allowed the Saints to hang around in. They should have put them away and put them out of their mercy when they had an opportunity. There were all kinds of turnovers. The one that sticks out like a sore thumb, Marcus Mariota has the football on a scramble on a third down inside the Saints 5-yard line, gets stripped of the football. It's recovered by the Saints. And it was that play there that I thought ultimately kept the Saints from losing this football game because they were going to get either a touchdown or they were going to get a field goal. Either way, those points would have been detrimental to the cause of this outcome. But big play there. And this was a 26-10 ball game at one point in the fourth quarter. And then Jameis Winston came the hell alive. I don't know what the hell happened in that fourth quarter, but he went apeshit. And he found Jarvis Landry over and over and over and over again. And then when they got in the red zone, he found Michael Thomas. 2 touchdowns from Michael Thomas. Good to see him back on the football field because I had forgot who he was. I didn't know who he was anymore. I used to say Michael Thomas, he's a grown man. He looks like he's back. We'll see. That was just one game. And he was, one of those guys that up until about Sunday at 12:45, we weren't sure if he was going to play or not. So still not sure about Michael Thomas, but man, when they needed him, he stepped up huge. Chris Olave made a couple of big grabs, including a 2-point conversion in this game. So nice to see the rookie getting involved. Cordero Patterson for the Falcons. Man, he's good. Had over 100 yards rushing for the Falcons in this game. He does it all. He's a receiver out of the backfield too, but they used him as a running back for the most part in this game, and he was dominant. Like I said, over 100 yards rushing for Cordero Patterson. We rarely see that out of him. He usually has more receiving yards than rushing yards. He was a monster on the ground. And Marcus Mariota, I think that helps the run game. You know how the same effect that Jalen Hurts has on the Eagles offense, Mariota has on this Atlanta Falcons offense. Like, he's a problem out of the backfield as a rusher. Mariota had almost 100 yards rushing in this football game. You have to account for him, or else he's going to tuck it and run, and he's a tremendous athlete. So he's a guy that's going to give the Falcons a chance week in and week out. I don't know if it's going to be enough, as it wasn't this game, but he's going to, if he stays healthy, and this isn't new with Marcus Mariota. Because he can't stay healthy. But if he can stay healthy, the Falcons are going to be a little bit better than people think. Drake London, nice NFL debut for him. I didn't love him. You guys know how I felt about him, but he looked good in this game. And remember, he hurt himself in the first preseason game. They weren't sure if they were going to get him back for week 1 or not. He looked good out there, about 7 or 8 catches for like 75 yards or so. So that's a good debut for him. And Taysom Hill can still run, just in case you guys forgot. I don't know what the Falcons were doing, but when Taysom Hill comes in the game, 95% of the time it's to run it. When they put him in the shotgun, it's not even as a quarterback. It's wildcat, just adding an extra blocker in the run game, because he's going to tuck that bitch and run. And for some reason, they just kind of blanked on who Taysom Hill was, and he murked on him. Like, what are y'all doing? It's Taysom Hill. Saddle up, get ready to stop this damn power to the right. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Jarvis Landry, hell of a debut going back home, over 130 yards receiving, as the Saints storm back and win this football game behind a crazy fourth quarter by Jameis Winston and a big field goal late by their kicker. Big win for the Saints over the Falcons in some good old-fashioned NFC South family business. Cleveland at Carolina. This was one of those revenge games. Baker Mayfield at home for the Panthers. Let me just start out by saying, Panthers lose this game 26-24. Browns get the win on the road. The Panthers field was disgustingly ugly. I can't speak for any of you out there. They tried this different look because, remember, at some point this year, they're going to debut black helmets. And so they decided, we're just going to go with that theme. We're going to have all black and white paint on the field. It was ugly. First of all, you're the Carolina Panthers. Blue is a part of your identity. You need to have blue somewhere on the field. I didn't like the logo in the middle of the field. I didn't like that the end zone wasn't painted all black like it usually is. I thought they just were lazy with their field. That's just me. Maybe the fans like the different look. I thought it didn't give me Bank of America vibes. At one point I was like, are they in Cleveland? I had to, do a double take because they were wearing their road whites. Normally when they're at home, they wear darker color uniforms. But at the beginning of the year, when it's hotter outside, most home teams elect to wear white so that the road team has to wear the darker color, which the sun usually bakes teams with darker color uniforms on. So the home team gets the option to wear what they want to wear, and they usually choose white because that is usually a lot cooler in the sun. Anyway, I thought it was a mess. I didn't like it. That's just me. So I talked about Nick Chubb already, man. What more can I say? 22 carries, 141 yards. They got Jacoby Brissett in the backfield. Jacoby Brissett in the backfield. I'm going to say it one more time. They got Jacoby Brissett under center. So they're not going to hurt you over the air. And they still let Nick Chubb kill him on the ground. I don't understand. Donovan Peoples-Jones and Amari Cooper are just going to have to do me. They're just going to have to do me. It's not going to be Nick Chubb. And unfortunately, they let Nick Chubb do him. And I couldn't be more disgusted in what I saw from that Panthers defense in terms of stopping Nick Chubb. Baker Mayfield. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield. I thought Baker Mayfield was I thought early he looked like he was pressing. I thought that he looked like a guy that was he looked short in this game. He had 5 passes batted at the line of scrimmage. Remember the big fuss about his hand size during the draft process? He dropped like 5 snaps, it felt like, between the preseason and this game. I think he had like 3 fumbled snaps in this game. I don't know if he's got Crisco on his hands or what, but this guy seems to not be able to catch a snap. I'm not saying his hands aren't big enough. Pause. I'm just telling you something's amiss there, okay, for whatever reason. That said, he came up big in the fourth quarter. He struggled for much of three quarters. They were getting their asses handed to him at home in this game, like 23-7 at one point. And it might have been more like 23-10 or something, but whatever the case may be, he rallied them back. And before you know it, you looked up, it was 23-21, and they had the football with a chance. And Christian McCaffrey gets loose. I think he actually hit, I want to say it was DJ Moore on a pass over the middle of the field, and Moore gets up the field, gets some extra yardage, and boom, just like that, they're on the plus side of the field. They end up getting in the field goal range. I thought they didn't milk the clock as well as they should have, though. They ended up leaving a minute and 10 seconds left for the Browns to go back down the field. And wouldn't you know it, Jacoby Brissett, a couple of penalties really aided and abetted the Browns on that final possession. But who's keeping score, right? Like, I don't care if they're penalties or they're legit gains by the Browns. It helped them get in the field goal range. And their rookie kicker, Cade York, comes on the field for a 58-yard field goal, and he bangs it home to give the Browns the 24-23 win, or 26-24 win, excuse me. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. Myles Garrett abused Okongwu, the rookie tackle, on 2 consecutive plays. He sacked Baker Mayfield. That young fella got a nice little lesson on what it's like to be an NFL tackle. You won't see anybody better, more likely than not, the remainder of the year. So he got a nice master class in what it's going to be like, defending the elite edge rushers. That's a big win for Cleveland because, again, they're trying to tread water. They're not looking to be over 500. They're looking to be at or slightly below 5-7 or 6-6 by the time Deshaun Watson comes back. I think it's an 11 gamer, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's an odd number because they wanted him back for that Texans game. So they can get to 5-6 by the time he gets back. It'll give him a chance. I don't see the Browns doing anything of substance this year, but that's a great start. And then I think they got a very winnable game next week, like the Jets or somebody like that. So, hey, big win for Cleveland, man. If you're Carolina, you got to be kicking yourself. You can't lose to the Browns at home in week 1. They hadn't won a week 1 road game since like 1994. Well, that's over now. So Browns get the win 26-24. How about the slop fest in Chicago? 49ers at Bears was a monsoon. Field was soaking wet. And this was one of the surprises of week 1. Nobody saw Chicago winning this game. At least I didn't. I can't speak for anyone else out there. Deebo Samuel had a big fumble early in the game. That kind of set the tone. Even though after that fumble, they rebounded and they had a 10-0 lead. That fumble, it stopped them from getting out in front of Chicago in a manner that would have had the Bears starting to question and doubt themselves. 10-0, you're still in the ball game. It's 2 scores. They score in that opening, that first possession they got down there. I think it was like the third or second or third possession of the game. And then you tack on the other 10 points that they ultimately had. And they got into the red zone a couple of times and they weren't able to get in. You look at a 17-0 deficit for the Bears, and they probably would have folded. They would have packed it in. All right. But it's 10-0, and it gave them a chance. They had a chance to fight. Trey Lance, let's talk about Trey Lance in this game. His first start as the guy. Last year, he got a start against the Texans, but that was just in relief of Jimmy Garoppolo, who was injured. This is his first start as the guy, all right? And I looked at his numbers before I watched the game, and I was like, ugh, that's nasty. But, I took the elements in the game that they were playing in with all of that sloppiness into consideration. I was like, I guess I could see that. Justin Fields barely threw the ball in this game. I think he had like 7 completions on like maybe 13 or 14 attempts. It wasn't a lot. And, the 49ers threw a little bit more with Trey Lance. I actually thought he played well, honestly. I thought the incompletions were, some of them were, youthful, exuberance. And then I thought a lot of the balls, he threw some strikes, some pretty balls. Again, this is a tough environment to throw the football in. It's wet. It's nasty out there. The ball's heavy. And I thought he threw it well, man. I actually walked away impressed with the performance Trey Lance had. He did throw a bad interception, though. He did throw a bad interception in the game, stared down his receiver, and, the safety, Eddie Jackson, read his eyes the entire time and picked him off. But I actually thought Trey Lance played well. The circumstances were what they were, and the 10 points don't really do him or that offense any justice. I thought he wasn't that bad. Justin Fields and that Bears defense. Fields, I thought he managed the game. They didn't ask him to do a whole hell of a lot. When opportunities to run presented themselves, he took off. When he had a chance to sit back in the pocket and throw it, he did. Again, he didn't throw it much, but I thought he just managed it well. All right, this is what they're going to be. Fields not effing up, not throwing interceptions or fumbling, and the Bears defense giving them a shot. That's what this team is going to be this year. They don't have weapons. They are void of real weapons outside of Darnell Mooney. Nothing on their offense scares you at all whatsoever. So it's going to have to be a lot of that this season. It's a big win for them, though. How about them sliding in the rain at the end? And then I already talked about Tylenola Huffunga. Man, was he fun to watch in this game or what? Bears get the win 19-10. Big win for them. Steelers at the Bengals. Good old-fashioned AFC North family business of the utmost importance. When these two get together, crazy shit usually happens. Usually somebody's getting their block knocked off. We saw that happen in this game. All right. I talked about that Steelers defense. They also took T. Higgins and knocked him out of the game. Put that on Joe Burrow's tab too, because he got him lit up on that play. Anyway, this defense was off the chain. And, this just takes me back to all of those games where guys are getting their block knocked off. Joey Porter's on the field late in the game. It's all kinds of chicanery. That's what happens when there's no love lost between the Bengals and the Steelers. There's only one constant in this battle, and that's Mike Tomlin. And all the rest of the players have changed. There's no more Roethlisberger. There's no more Marvin Lewis. There's no more, Vontaze Burfict or any of those guys that were main players in, Pac-Man Jones. None of those guys exist in this rivalry anymore. It's just Mike Tomlin, but it's the same intensity when these two teams get together. And boy, did the Steelers defense bring it. I've already talked about those guys. Alex Hightower and Minkah Fitzpatrick in particular were absolutely dynamo in this game. Throw in TJ Watt before he got injured, and they have the makings of being dominant. Now, that Watt injury is going to suffocate that defense because of what he means. Alex Highsmith doesn't get 3 sacks unless TJ Watt's on the other side. So now all the focus now shifts to him. I can't see him eating the way he ate in his first game. But, man, did he eat or what? Minkah Fitzpatrick showed you exactly why he got that deal he got. Before Derwin James overtook him as the highest paid safety, Minkah Fitzpatrick showed why he is that dude. Pick 6, knocked T. Higgins out of the game, blocked extra point that sent the game to overtime, sideline to sideline, putting fear in the hearts of these Bengals receivers and running backs. Minkah Fitzpatrick was everywhere. TJ Watt, we know about the injury. There's been conflicting reports as to the severity. Right now, it seems like he's not going to have surgery. He tweeted out that the Terminator, I'll be back. So it sounds like he'll be back sooner rather than later. We'll see. But good. That's great news too. You never want to see a guy the magnitude of a TJ Watt get injured and be out for the season. And then the Bengals resolve in this game. I look, for all the shit I talked about Joe Burrow earlier with the 5 turnovers, and he was a mess in the first half in particular. The defense gave them a shot, and Burrow, you got to have some big stones and a clear mind, all right, and a short-term memory to be able to do what he did in the final moments of that fourth quarter, which was take his team down the field and with 4 seconds left, throw a strike for a touchdown to Jamar Chase and conceivably put you in the position pending an extra point to win the football game. It was insane that after all that had transpired in this game, that they had a chance to win pending an extra point. The resolve that the Bengals showed, that's that Super Bowl shit. They don't do that without going to the Super Bowl the year prior. Had Had they been bounced in the divisional round or had they not made the playoffs last year, they would have got their asses handed to them 33-10 in this game. But because they went through what they went through last year, being down 21-3 at Arrowhead in the AFC Championship game, they didn't even bat an eye when they were down and getting their asses handed to them in this game, in all the turnovers. They just stayed the course, and they almost stole this game. They had opportunities, man. In the overtime, first of all, the extra point got blocked. There was some terrible snaps going on. The kick in overtime, the snap was poor. They didn't even get to spin the laces. He kicked the damn laces, so the ball went all haywire. It was amazing because both of the kickers in the game were like, they're elite kickers, and they both missed, but when it was all said and done, Chris Boswell got another shot, and he wasn't going to let that one go by the wayside. Steelers get the win 23-20. What a game that was. Unbelievable. Eagles, Lions. Eagles get the win 38-35, the highest scoring game between two teams in the league in week number 1. Eagles started off slow. Lions started the game off on the opening drive touchdown, took the lead. I'm going to tell you what, that Ford Field crowd was raucous. I've never heard Ford Field that loud before. It was crazy how loud it was. I'm watching that game, and I'm like, God damn, is it me or is it loud at Ford Field? And I had the pleasure of talking to a few Lions fans, and they said, no, that shit was legit. It was pretty damn loud there. They were delirious early in that ball game. And then the Eagles slowly but surely, methodically started taking it to him on the ground. Hurts was 0 of 5 to start, but he finally settled in. But really what settled him down was his legs. They just had no answer. I already talked about that. They had no answer for his legs. They had no answer for A.J. Brown. But I can tell you what, after the game, the Detroit Lions were calling Devontae Smith Mary Mary because they put the shackles on his ass. He was like, get these shackles off my feet so I can dance. His ass had 3 targets, no catches. They sicked Jeff Okudah on him, and he couldn't get free. Yikes. Zoinks! Scoob! Anyway, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, like I talked about, nasty. DAndre Swift was a problem in this game. Man, was he absolutely, positively destructive. Okay. Single-handedly kept the Lions in this game while they were trying to figure out what the hell they were going to do defensively. He kept running that bitch on the ground. Now, over 150 yards or so for him by himself. Okay. And, DAndre Swift's not a 27 carry guy. He's more of that, 17 carries type of dude. And he almost averaged 10 yards a carry. I'm going to look it up. I'm curious now. I think he averaged over 9 yards a carry in this game. I'm not bullshitting you. He was the glue that kept this Lions offense together in this football game. 15 carries, 144 yards, 9.6 yards a pop. Okay. He was getting freaky out there. I'm talking about breaking dudes off something proper. Also, give props to that Detroit Lions offensive line. There were times where he'd hit the hole and he would not make contact with a Eagles defender for the first 7 or 8 yards of a run. Okay, so got to give credit where credit is due, but he was nasty out there. The Lions had miscues in this game. First of all, let's understand that the score was 31-14. Then it was 38-21. The Eagles were well in control of this game in the fourth quarter. And then the Lions did that same fourth quarter week 1 shit they did last year to the 49ers. Remember that game that was 41-10, and then somehow it magically became 41-33 with the Lions having the ball with the chance to tie the football game late? Yeah, they did that thing. Except the Eagles was like, nah. Y'all ain't getting the ball back, though. Okay, y'all will never see this rock with a chance to win this thing. But they put up 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, made it interesting. Josh Reynolds with a massive drop that would have given the Lions a chance with a lot more time in this game to try and win it. instead of having one opportunity for a stop. He catches that ball, and the defender had fallen down. He scores. Now it's 38-35 with it like 6 minutes left instead of it being 38-35 with the 3 minutes or so. Maybe it might have even been 7 minutes left in the game. Because when the Eagles got it that last time, it was like 3 minutes and some change. And in the Eagles, Miles Sanders had a big run. And then they put Scott in the game, and he ran it 3 times. And then Jalen Hurts snuck that quarterback sneak on 4th down to ice this game away. 38-35, the Eagles hold on. Impressive performance by the Eagles, except their run defense, which was downright disturbing. Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans. This one ended in a 20-20 tie. This game, the Steelers game, prime examples of why the NFL needs to go back to 15-minute overtimes. Nobody wants to see ties, okay? These aren't fun. Literally, the Indianapolis Colts hoarded the football in overtime and then missed the field goal. And so the Texans got it back, and they had like a minute and something left to try and do something. More like maybe 2 minutes or so, 2.5. And after they flamed out and had to punt, the Colts got the football back, and there was like 14 seconds. Like, what are we going to do? So, they need to go back to 15-minute overtimes. Anyway, I digress. The Colts started extremely slow in this game. For all of the talk of Carson Wentz and, this offense being better with Matt Ryan, Matt Ryan woke up in the second half. They were down 20-3. And I didn't give you my picks on Friday because I didn't do a podcast, which really pissed me off. I really wanted to do a podcast on Friday. I can't miss Fridays during the football season because I want to give my picks out. And one of my upset special of the week was Houston over Indy, because I don't believe in Indianapolis's offense. And they didn't have, he's calling himself now Shaq or Shaquille. What is his last name? Why am I blanking on his last name? The Maniac. You guys know what I'm talking about. The linebacker, Darius Leonard. He's calling himself Shaquille Leonard now. That's what everybody else that knows him intimately calls him, Shaq or Shaquille. So he's going by Shaquille now, and he wasn't playing in this game. So I'm like, man, F the Colts this week. I don't buy their offense. I think the Texans are going to be amped. It's first game, new head coach. Everybody's telling them they're going to suck. Family business. Give me the damn Texans. And for 3.5 quarters, man, I was smelling myself. I almost broke my arm patting myself on the back. And I was over here doing a dance with my wife. I got hyped because Carolina came back. The Texans are running, steamrolling over the Colts. And then the Bengals scored a touchdown on the last play. I'm like, and Washington had just completed their comeback, and my sheet was just coming together seamlessly. I'm like, oh, I'm about to do these boys. And then in one fell swoop, extra point gets blocked in Cincinnati. The Panthers give up a late field goal, a 58-yarder, and the Texans allow the Colts to not only tie this game, but have the football and a chance to kick a game-winning field goal. Matt Ryan turned it up in the fourth quarter. They scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter after trailing this game 20-3 and then 20-6. The Texans just unraveled. Davis Mills had a fumble that set up a touchdown. They couldn't sustain offense. How about O.J. Howard? Got there 4 days ago, and he catches 2 touchdown passes. The only 2 touchdowns for the Texans in the game. He catches them both. How about O.J. Howard, man? A little bit of that juice over there, man. I like Davis Mills, but Davis Mills makes things a lot harder than they need to be. He takes stupid sacks. He does some things where I go, Davis, no. Davis, no. No. But he also does some things where I go, that's some good shit, Davis. I'm still on the fence on Davis Mills. He's got to win me over. I thought he wasn't good enough. While he was good, he wasn't good enough in this game. Thought he hurt them. Took some bad sacks. Where I'm like, dude, you just costed your team 25 yards of field position with that dumbass sack. And then there's Rodrigo Blankenship, who was cut by the Colts. Two kickoffs out of bounds, which, that's a death sentence in the NFL. You're starting at the 40 when you kick it out of bounds. You can't do that. You can't do that once. You did it twice. And he missed the game-winning field goal. I knew it was something about those goggles, man. Never trust a kicker who has to wear goggles underneath their helmet. Never. Anyway, tie game. I hate ties. Dolphins, Patriots. Dolphins dominated this thing start to finish. I told anybody that would listen, and I wanted to tell you guys this again on Friday, which is why it sucked that I didn't get to do a podcast. The Dolphins own the Patriots in Miami for whatever reason. Same way the Jacksonville Jaguars own Indianapolis in Jacksonville. I can't explain it. It's family business. And if it's not your family business, keep your nose out of matters that don't pertain to you. I stay out of this. This is not my family business. I just know from afar the Dolphins own the Patriots in Miami. That trend continued. But I had a different reasoning as to why the Patriots are going to lose this game. And I already told you this when I gave you my predictions for the season. They're going to suck on offense. Okay, it doesn't matter who's calling the plays. They don't have Josh McDaniels anymore. They're going to suck on offense. And it showed. They were putrid. And they don't have any playmakers. They don't have any playmakers on offense. It's a very bland and vanilla offense that only Tom Brady could love. Only Tom Brady could clean the shit up that they've put in New England right now and make guys like Devontae Parker and what's my guy's name from the Raiders and the Eagles? I can't remember the receiver's name. But it's a lot of those dudes. The guy from San Francisco, it's a lot of those dudes where you're like, hey, he's like a number 3, maybe a number 2, but he's really a number 3 at best. They got a bunch of those dudes running around, man. And then they got like 15 tight ends. I'm like, that's rough. Good luck. You're going to need it. And the Dolphins, they're good on defense. They ran the football not all that well. They still got issues there. But Tua just boop, 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 just nickel and dime, dink and dunk. And with these playmakers, with Tyreek Hill on one side and his doppelganger on the other side, Jalen Waddle, just throw a slant. And he threw one to Waddle, and he split the defense and ran for like a 45-yard touchdown. You don't have to do much with these guys out on the outsides. So, it was 17-0 at halftime for the Dolphins. The Patriots are going to struggle this year. That's an understatement, if you ask me. 20-7, Dolphins get the victory. Shout out to another first-year head coach in his first game getting a victory. Happened for the Bears with Matt Eberflus. Happened here for Michael McDaniel. And it also happened in Giants. We'll get to that game here shortly. And their first-year head coach, Brian Daboll. So, and the Vikings. We'll get to that game here shortly too. Ravens, Jets. I won't spend a lot of time on this. This game was not fun to watch. Devin Duvernay had 2 touchdown grabs. One of them was sick. Good to see him making some plays. Lamar Jackson, he looked a little rusty to me, but he made plays like Lamar Jackson makes. Thought he missed some throws that he should make that I've seen him make in the past. He had to knock the rust off. Didn't play in the preseason. Remember, he missed most of last year too, late in the season. He was okay. If they would have played a better opponent, this would have been a game that they could have easily have lost. And then the Jets, man, do they stink. Joe Flacco, man, he threw it like 60 times in this game. More like 56. Who's counting? Man, was it hard to watch that Jets offense. The best thing they had going for them was their running back, Michael Carter. Everybody else looked like they were moving in slow motion. And I just got to throw this in there. Their head coach, Robert Saleh, says he's keeping receipts of everyone talking trash about the Jets. Hey, Robert, little secret. Those receipts, you can't take the items back. Okay? No return policy. He's never going to get to use those receipts. Never. You might as well throw those things in the trash can, man. But I like your spunk. I admire your desire to want to be good. I'm sorry, bro. It's not happening. He's going to get fired. I don't think it's going to be this year. He's going to get fired next year. The Jets stink, man. And I don't really know. Like, I don't even know if their quarterback's any good. And I was a huge fan of Zach Wilson. But he's shown the ability to not be able to stay healthy, just like in college when he was incapable of staying healthy. I don't know, man. They look like they could be the worst team in football. Anyway, Jacksonville versus Washington. Fun game. I'm a Washington fan, so I'm biased. This was a fun one. 28-22, Washington gets the win. Carson Wentz took us on a roller coaster ride. It was fun. I'm not gonna lie. I would love to avoid the roller coaster, but I'm not adverse to it. But a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, I had 6 heart attacks." I didn't have a single heart attack. I knew what I was signing up for. But man, was it fun. Now, Jacksonville, I have to say, man, are they bad in terms of allowing other teams to take advantage of mistakes, because they made so many mistakes in this game. They dropped a 4th down that would have been a touchdown. Travis Etienne dropped the touchdown. Wide open, would have walked in the end zone. On the very first possession, they walk it down the field. Trevor Lawrence has Travis Etienne down the sideline, one-on-one with the linebacker. He's got at least 5 steps on this linebacker, and Trevor Lawrence throws it over his head by 3 yards. Again, I can't make this stuff up. He's got an open receiver down the field about 40 yards, and if he throws it and hits him in stride, it's a 60, 70-yard touchdown. He overshoots him about a yard and a half too far inside. There were so many opportunities on that same possession where they dropped the 4th down. There's a receiver open on 3rd down, Zay Jones, on a out route, and he just throws it too far. There were so many opportunities for Jacksonville. Their kicker missed a field goal right before halftime. They left so many points on the field, and yet 2 straight interceptions by Carson Wentz in the span of 2 plays gave Jacksonville life and ultimately helped them go from trailing by 11, 14-3, to leading by 8, 22-14, 19 unanswered points by the Jacksonville Jaguars. But then Wentz came alive after the second interception, throws a 49-yard touchdown strike to Terry McLaurin. Then the next drive, Washington gets a stop, gets it back, and he throws another touchdown as they were in field goal range. He goes for the jugular and hits rookie Jahan Dotson, who had 2 touchdown grabs in his NFL debut. Washington's receivers account for all 4 of the touchdowns in the game. Carson Wentz is the first quarterback in NFL history to make his first career start with a new team and throw for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in that start. Washington scores 28 points, which is like an outburst offensively for them, and the 5th most points in week 1 with Carson Wentz under center, as they get the win 28-22 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll just say this. There are Jacksonville Jaguars fans that are starting to turn on Trevor Lawrence. It's getting late early for him. I still believe, but man, he's missing too many opportunities. He's got to clean this shit up. I'm just going to say that. Giants at the Titans. Wow. What a win for the New York Football Giants. They get the win 21-20. Daniel Jones was actually really good in this game. Now, he did have one of those signature Daniel Jones moments where he just loses his mind for a second and throws a YOLO ball that gets picked. And you're like, bro, what are you doing? Literally threw it right to the defender. The Giants had just gotten a gift from the Titans on a muffed punt by their rookie, Kyle Phillips. They're in literally at like the 6-yard line, and he throws a back shoulder fade that actually didn't go back shoulder and didn't fade. He just threw it right to the defender, and he picks it off. And I'm thinking, that damn Daniel Jones, what an ass clown. But game on the line, Daniel Jones got cerebral, got in his bag, and took him right down the field and into the end zone. Saquon Barkley had one of those welcome back moments. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Big 70-yard run down the sideline that set up a score by the Giants. He went over 140 yards in this game. So good to have Saquon Barkley back. Hopefully he stays healthy. Man, that Titans offense is anemic. Yikes. I mean, I don't know who the genius in that room was that thought trading A.J. Brown was a smart idea. Hey, we'll trade A.J. Brown and we'll replace him with the kid from Arkansas. Yeah, that's a great idea. No, it's not a great idea. And again, they were supposed to be bringing over Robert Woods to be a complement to A.J. Brown, not to be your number one wide receiver. Okay, Robert Woods is no one's number one. And now he's going to have to pose as one for these Titans. It's a mess. I'm just telling you, their offense, they're not going to score a lot of points this season. If Derrick Henry isn't running roughshod, and the cat's out of the bag, okay? Stop Derrick Henry. You cut off the head of the snake and the rest of the body will die, okay? That's their MO. You got now, it's not easy because they block like hell up front for him, and he's a physical presence, but the MO's out. All right, make Ryan Tannehill beat you, man. They got nothing out there. They lack a ton of team speed offensively. They don't have any real true deep threats. It's an offense that's like a slog. This that's how you feel when you watch the Titans offensively. I like Kyle Phillips. I don't like the fumble on the punt, but he had a big punt return. He caught it well. Like, he'll help. And I liked him. I said, man, this is the perfect setup. A.J. Brown as your number one. Yeah, Robert Woods is your two. And then Kyle Phillips in the slot is your three. That was what I envisioned the Titans being offensively, and now they've messed it up. Anyway, I swear to you, I've been saying this for years. You can go back in the archives. Any team with Randy Bullock as their field goal kicker will feel pain at some point from a missed game winner. He sucks ass cheeks. And wouldn't you know it, they trotted old Randy out there, and Randy did what Randy does. Just because he was good last year, don't let Randy psych you up. He psyched him up for the big letdown, missed the game-winning field goal. Giants escape 21-20. If you're the Titans and you plan on being good, you can't lose to the Giants at home in week 1. Sorry, not sorry. Chiefs, Cardinals, I'm going to make this short and sweet. 44-21. Biggest discrepancy in score of the weekend. The Chiefs were up 37-7 at one point. They were toying around with these boys. They had so much fun. Mahomes, I already chronicled his day. 30 of 39, 350 yards, 5 touchdowns, 9 different receivers caught the football, 12 straight completions at one point. He was ridiculous. Harrison Butker hurt himself on a kickoff. They brought in Justin Reed. They're out there having fun, man. They're having fun, are the Chiefs. It's week 1, and they're out there having fun. The Cardinals defense, it was disgusting. I mean, it was absolutely atrocious. They could do nothing right in this football game. Mahomes did whatever the hell he wanted to do. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was out there getting nasty. All the receivers were having fun. Travis Kelce was just running wide open over the middle of the football field all game long. It was a mess defensively. And J.J. Watt's not going to solve this. DeAndre Hopkins offensively isn't going to fix their defense. I get this too. You won't play them again the rest of the season. And I know you're saying, thank God. I agree. You don't have to see this man again. But man, if that's any indication of the resistance your defense is going to put up against quality offenses, good luck. You're going to need it. Raiders at Chargers. This was a fun one. And it felt like the Raiders should have been getting blown out in this game. And yet I looked up and they had the football with a chance to win late in this ball game. Derek Carr threw 3 interceptions. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, they're going to get blown in this game. And yet the Chargers, and again, I chalk this up to not playing in the preseason. I thought, and they also lost Keenan Allen very early on to a hamstring injury. That really did hurt them. But look, DeAndre Carter stepped up for him, had some big catches, including a touchdown grab in this game. And so they were able to circumvent that injury. I don't think he's going to be ready for the Thursday night game, but we'll see. Anyway, Justin Herbert, man, he is a machine. There was one play where his foot is being grabbed. He's doing a split, and the man throws a dart like 17 yards down the field on a deep cross route. I'm like, who does this? Everybody wants to show the throw that he layers over a Raiders defender. I saw Trey Lance do that. I saw Derek Carr do that in the same game to Darren Waller. That throw was impressive. The throw where he's doing a split is even more impressive. Show that throw, okay? Justin Herbert's a freak, man. 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions for him in this game. Khalil Mack, in his Chargers debut, he put up 3 sacks, including a big forced fumble of Derek Carr late in this game to put it on ice. I talked about DeAndre Carter coming over. He's not just a return man, folks. He can actually catch the football. He showed that in this game. He was huge for them with Keenan Allen getting injured. And I'm just going to say this. I don't know how many games the Raiders are going to win this year and how big of a difference Devontae Adams' presence is going to make from a win-loss standpoint. But him and Darren Waller on the same team, that shit shouldn't be legal. It's flat. It's like flashes of Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Obviously, Adams isn't as fast, but he's equally as effective. And Waller is a problem. Those two together, and then you just sprinkle in ever so slightly a little bit of Hunter Renfrow. You're going to have a tough time stopping them if they can figure out how to protect Derek Carr, and if Derek Carr can figure out how to not force the football to his best friend. If he can figure out how to spread it around, get everybody involved, their offense could be scary. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, but Chargers defensively get it done. Derwin James had a sack. I thought he had a really good game. Asante Samuel, I talked about him getting cooked by Devontae Adams. He also had a pick in this game. The young fella has shown resiliency. That's for sure. I like that young kid. And they didn't have J.C. Jackson in the game. Okay, that's one of their prized offseason acquisitions. Hopefully we see him on Thursday night. But they get the win 24-19. Big win for the Chargers. A lot of Raiders fans in the stands. I don't know if that'll ever be. The Rams on ring night have to go silent count in the shotgun. So do the Chargers at home against the Raiders. I don't know if that'll ever be a home field advantage. I know they get tired of hearing about it, but damn, you shouldn't be running a silent count at the crib, man. Especially, I'm not mad at the Chargers, especially on ring night for the Rams. If you can't have the crowd in your favor on ring night when you're dropping the banner, rather banner night, I don't know when you'll ever have it. Anyway, Vikings Packers. This was right there with the Ravens Jets. It was one of the, worst watches of the week. It wasn't. I didn't enjoy this game. And I didn't enjoy this game because the Packers don't look like the Packers. And while the Vikings were fun, it felt like, they were kind of just going through the motions. Like, I remember playing the Vikings on a Thursday night in 2019 when we were awful. And it's almost like they were like, hey, let's just not lose the game. These guys suck. They can't score. If we don't do anything dumb, they won't beat us. And I remember that game being something like 9-0. And it was just like this eerie feeling like we're hanging in, but they're like, yeah, you guys suck. We're just not going to do anything foolish tonight. I think they beat us like 16-3 or something like that. Anyway, this kind of felt like that. Like they were like, yeah, this Packers team, they got rookies running wrong routes and dropping deep balls for touchdowns. Rodgers is out of sorts. Like he doesn't trust these dudes. Let's not do anything dumb to give them short field position and let them back in this game. Yeah, let's just make them earn it. We don't think they can. They can't protect Rodgers. They almost snapped him in half. He was over there having to get his neck massaged. They almost had to leave the game. Like they were just like, yeah, hey, we're up big. Let's just not do anything foolish here. So Rodgers in the offense. Remember we talked about problems with that offense and Rodgers kind of giving the young fellas on the team, like reading them their rights in the preseason, like, hey, they better start running the right routes and they better start catching the ball or they won't get it. And there was a lot made of it. I talked about it on the podcast. Well, and this is the thing that I again, I'm going to die on this hill. You got all these new weapons. There's no more Devontae Adams. Don't you think Aaron Rodgers, you're complaining about guys running wrong routes and dropping footballs. Don't you think Aaron Rodgers should get a possession or two in the preseason just to see if you can get on the same page with these guys? Just a thought. You don't want to use week 1 as that first preseason game. And that's what it looked like. You got Romeo Doubs running a curl inside, and Rodgers thinks he's going outside, and ball sails right by him on a third down. Rodgers is pissed. On the very second, second possession of the game, might be the first, Rodgers drops a dime 50 yards down the field in stride to Christian Watson, the rookie second-round pick. And it goes right through the wickets. It's an easy touchdown. And all I could think to myself was, Rodgers told y'all ass in the preseason. He told y'all, get y'all shit together. And I don't feel, and I told you, I'm not a Matt LaFleur fan because his offense is as basic as it gets. Like, there's no complexity to it. They just execute really well. But when they don't, like they didn't, they score 7 points. And that's why the Packers will never win anything of substance, because their offense is too easy to figure out. You just have to stop them from executing. Now, it's Aaron Rodgers, and that's why it's hard. But if you can just stop them, you can make them uncomfortable, you can beat the Packers. Their offense isn't that hard. He's not creative. Same thing with Sean McVay. His offense isn't complex. He does the same shit out of different formations with a lot of movement. And if you can figure that shit out, you got him. We saw both of those teams struggle to score because their offenses, to me, aren't that complex. They do the same shit over and over again, run a lot of high-low concepts, especially Sean McVay. Anyway, I digress. The Packers got what they deserved in week 1. You treated the preseason like it was scrimmages, and your players clearly weren't ready in the preseason, and you didn't take any heed to what Aaron Rodgers was saying and say, you know what? Hey, you guys get out there for a couple possessions. You look like you were playing in a preseason game. Danielle Hunter's back. That's great news for the Vikings. I hope he stays healthy. He's a problem. So is Justin Jefferson. I already talked about that. The Vikings, they're going to spread teams out. No more of this, ball control bullshit that they had under Mike Zimmer, where they're scared to open up. They showed this crazy stat where the Vikings were the worst in the league in terms of percentage of 11 personnel, meaning 3 receivers on the field. Well, they were like second in the league in week number 1 in terms of 11 personnel having 3 receivers on the field. They're going to open it up, and it's going to be a lot, funner if you're a Vikings fan this year. Is funner a word? I always ask myself that when I say it because it sounds weird. Anyway, that was dominant, man. It felt like an ass kicking, even though it was only 23-7. It felt like a thorough beating, a sound beating, as a wise woman once said to me. A sound beating, a sound thrashing. Green Bay, get your shit together, man. I'm just saying the Vikings, they always give you problems, whether it's at home or in Minnesota. They may be around. Just saying. You got Chicago at home on a Sunday night. They're coming off of a victory. They're excited. I would tell you, don't sleep on the Bears. You should beat them. But are you? I don't know. We'll see. All right. So that's going to take us to our final segment of the show. Garbage time. Thursday night, we got a dandy of a football game. AFC West family business of the highest order. Okay, these are the 2 teams that play each other the toughest in this division. The Raiders, they know how to play the Chiefs as well, but not like the Chargers. Okay, the Chargers, they know how to play these Chiefs. However, this is a different Chiefs team. Okay, this isn't, let's pick a poison. Let's take Tyreek Hill away and make Travis Kelce beat us. Not exactly like that anymore. Okay, they're spreading this thing around now. I'll be anxious to see if the Chargers still have the antidote for this Chiefs offense, because they're the only team in this division that is able to slow them down. Everybody else tries to outscore them, including the Raiders, which is usually not a good idea. But the Chargers are like, no. We're going to drag your ass down to our level, and we're going to make this a 27-23 game. We're not going up there chasing your ass, trying to outscore you 37-33. No. You're going to play our game. Well, that was okay when they just had 2 guys that you really had to concern yourself with. Now they got like 10. So I'm anxious to see if the Chargers can pull that off this year. An important piece is J.C. Jackson, and obviously having Khalil Mack helps. But JC Jackson's health is going to be huge because those receivers were open, like open in week 1. So, and Asante Samuel is cool, but he can't do it by himself. So, this is going to be a fun one. It's at Arrowhead. The crowd's going to be raucous. It's the first Thursday night game on Amazon. I wanted to talk about the Monday night with Joe Buck and all those guys. I want to talk about Sunday night with Mike. I didn't get to do any of that today. We'll do that another day. But it'll be the first Thursday night game with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. I'm looking forward to it. I really, truly am. I just don't think the Chargers have enough, man. I think this is definitely a Chiefs win here. I think the Chiefs are going to win this one. I won't say comfortably, but I think they're going to, they rarely get to 30 against this Chargers defense. I'm going to go 31-23. All right. Chiefs get the win at Arrowhead. It's going to be fun, man. If the Chargers can, and this is family business, so you never know what's going to happen. If they can get to Mahomes and fluster him, make him uncomfortable, have him running around out there, they got a shot. If Mahomes is able to stand back there tall and deliver dimes like he was in week 1, as he was able to in week 1, it's going to be a long afternoon for that Chargers defense. And I felt like the Raiders were able to throw the football effectively. Now, Carr threw 3 picks, okay? Patrick Mahomes isn't Derek Carr. I don't think I have to tell you that for you to understand that. But anyway, I digress. I do have a couple of super chats, or at least one. I think I got one. Yeah, I got one from Kyle. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Kyle writes, Lou, I'm drunk on purple Kool-Aid. Are we for real? It's week 1. I wouldn't get too ahead of myself, but I will tell you that Kevin O'Connell's going to open up that offense. The defense is interesting. I still have my doubts about the defense, but if Danielle Hunter is healthy, it changes the way your defense operates. And so there's a lot to be excited about. I think you could be for real, but it's going to take more than a dominant performance against the Packers in week 1 to convince me. Consistency is the key, all right, in this league. I would be excited if I'm a Vikings fan, though. I would be truly excited because I think a lot of Vikings fans felt like if we would just be more willing to catch up to modern times offensively, we'll have a chance. You're going to do that now with Kevin O'Connell. I think you're going to have a chance to be good this season. And the NFC is wide open. Keep that in mind. Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the 289th installment of the Louie T Network podcast. If you're a Washington fan, I look forward to chopping it up with you tonight, 9:30 p.m. for the Commanders Nightly News live. For the rest of you, I'll see you tomorrow night after the Thursday night game. Should be a fantastic watch. Chargers at Chiefs. A little bit of AFC West family business. Bart Scott. Can't wait. Anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one and take care.
Louie T Network.